and welcome to Retirement Ready TV. I'm Michelle Davidson, and joining me this week, just like every Saturday night, is the power couple in retirement planning in the CLE, Tim and Laura Schultz of Preservation Retirement Services, the two best people in Cleveland to sit down with and have a real conversation about your retirement plan. Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Thanks for
Are you ready for a fun show?
We have a little different show.
It's a little different. I mean, some things. Let's talk about what we're going to cover, because we're going to cover a lot.
Always, we always do.
Yes, of course, we're going to be talking about retirement lifestyle choices. How do you want your retirement years to shape up? And speaking of shape, and you guys know this all too well, we're going to exercise with a specialist on the show to talk about the importance of staying active, and he'll have a few tips for us. I had to ask, how was it?
I'm sore.
You're sore. Okay.
Harder than I thought.
Yeah.
Stay
But great.
tuned.
But great. It was fantastic.
It was great.
Yeah.
We just might be a little out of shape.
Yeah.
And we'll, of course, address questions in the mind of our female viewers in your favorite segment.
It is. It's Women Get Retirement Ready. And today it's a little different. We're talking about non-financial concerns of women. So something to look forward to.
And at the Retirement Ready Light Board.
Yes, the Retirement Ready Light Board today, I'm going to be drawing a lifestyle balance wheel. I'm actually going to say non-retirement words. And I'm going to draw a wheel, and there's going to be things I think you're going to like it.
I think I'm going to like that.
You will like it, I promise.
And finally, we'll end the show with the top 3 mistakes you see people make that keep them from an enjoyable retirement. So just like every week, we have so much to cover. But before we get started with all of that, retirement can be so overwhelming. What do you do at Preservation Retirement Services to help your clients develop a plan that addresses all the issues affecting today's retirees?
Well, there are a lot of issues. We're going to cover all different ones today. Health and fitness, social isolation. But one of the most important things in retirement is and always will be financial wellness. Yeah. You want to make sure for your mental health, for your physical health, to be able to do all those things that you saved all this money to do, having financial wellness is super important. And our Retirement Ready Roadmap really helps folks feel that financial wellness.
Yeah.
And where does it start, Tim?
Well, it starts with defining the problem, right? And that's the thing about retirement planning. It's scary. And people are scared just to say, I might need some help. So that first visit, that Retirement Ready review that we keep talking about, we're just going to listen. We're going to find out, we're going to define what is the problem? What is the person's fears and concerns? That's the first step.
Really, yeah, and that really helps us once we understand their fears and concerns, once we understand their goals, what does their dream retirement look like, then we can really build that plan, that roadmap that we always talk about. We'll get into the weeds of that in just a second. But once we know what they want out of their retirement, we can build the financial plan to help them get there. And why do we do that? Because at the end of the day, it gives them confidence and security.
And that's what it's all about.
That their retirement is on track. It's the most rewarding part of what we do. Even after going through the process of just having this conversation, because really that's what it is. Folks say, I feel so much better when I leave your office, Tim and Laura.
We just want them to say at the very end, when it's all done and we give them that customized roadmap, they can say, I know I'm going to be okay now. That's the best.
And speaking of roadmaps, you have something very important that follows that ROAD.
Yeah, we try to make it simple because there's all these different things coming your way in retirement: taxes and long-term care and health care and market volatility. Yeah. It's hard to keep everything straight. Yeah. So we try to break it down in our process so that folks know we're really taking it step by step. So ROAD, and it always starts with R, and R is for risk, reviewing potential risks to your retirement. Yeah. Because the worst thing that can happen, folks have been saving every year for 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. The worst thing that can happen is after being a good financial steward and making those deposits in your retirement accounts, we don't want something unexpected to come out of left field and throw your dream retirement off track. And it's all different risks out there, right? As a lawyer, I always still think about risks, even though that's not what I do anymore. I still think that way. Market volatility. It could be healthcare, long-term care, rising taxes, changes in the law about retirement accounts. These are all risks that we want to make sure we're identifying and addressing, having a plan to mitigate them.
Yep. And then the O on road is optimize, optimizing taxes and legacy. And taxes, that scary word we always talk about. And it really just has to do with utilizing tax-efficient strategies to maybe move some of that money from those tax-deferred accounts over to some tax-free accounts, depending on the tax brackets people are in. That's a conversation we need to have. And then legacy just has to do with that estate plan. We're all going to pass at some time. We need to accept this. How do we transition our money to our spouse or our children? A whole nother issue. And keep as much of the hard-earned money. You talked about decades of work. Keep as much possible for us, not giving it to Uncle Sam.
You got it. And then that leads us to A. A means allocating your assets. And that's a fancy way to say making sure that our clients have a diversified portfolio in retirement that, first of all, meets their own risk tolerance. If they're conservative, we want to have a more conservative portfolio. If they're aggressive, we want to have an aggressive portfolio, or maybe somewhere in the middle. We need to, one, make sure that risk tolerance is being addressed, and two, make sure that whatever our plan is in retirement, whatever our income plan and our tax plan, we have investments and an investment plan and a portfolio that matches that.
Yeah. And last but not least, D is distribute income. And here at Preservation Retirement Services, we don't like to use the word retirement. We like to say voluntarily unemployed, because we are going to be unemployed at some part of our lives. And when that happens, that paycheck stops and there's usually income gap. And a lot of times that's a scary concept for people. We need to figure out where we're going to draw income from on an individual's portfolio to cover that gap. And there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Now, what do you both see happening with people as they move into retirement? Downsizing, relocating. Do they miss the routine of working?
We see it all.
Yeah,
we do.
That's what
This is what happens when you spend 24 hours a day together.
25 hours a day, it feels like.
Anyway, moving along. No, we really see everything, right? We see folks downsizing. We see folks buying a second home. They want to spend the winter in Florida or Arizona. We see folks that just want to live a quiet retirement. One client of ours is like, all I want to do is sit at home every night on my deck with a glass of wine and throw the tennis ball to my dog. That's one way. On the other hand,
true story.
On the other hand, we literally have clients that last month they were in Antarctica and now they're in New Zealand and Australia.
Galapagos
They were in the
coming up.
Galapagos. They're going to Ireland. They take these lavish trips every month. We see anything in all between, but it is that lack of work that we often hear talk about. I'm kind of lose my focus. What am I doing every day? And the lack of relationships, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the good stuff, but it can also go the other way. Sometimes people fall into bad habits. They're not around their colleagues that they've been around for so
lonely.
many decades, and they're at home a lot, eating bad food, maybe watching bad TV, and it can be a problem. So what we do actually here at Preservation Retirement Services is we try to interact with our clients, and we do a lot of client events.
To give them that social engagement. You might miss your colleagues. You don't want to just sit home, by yourself all the time. So we do fun events. I do women's only events. We do some crafting and wine tasting events.
I got the bill. There's more whining than crafting on that, but it's fun.
No, but we create opportunities for our clients to just engage with other people, potentially meet new people. We were so thrilled, Tim and I, last year when on New Year's Eve, we got a picture from two clients that didn't know each other before they met at one of our clients' events, and they were spending dinner together on New Year's Eve. It was so awesome. So we love helping with that little piece, but there's all sorts of pitfalls out there in retirement. So you have to think about it all, not just your money.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love your philosophy on all of this and bringing people together at the same time. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So if folks at home want to reach out to you, they want to be a part of this group.
family.
Yeah,
Our
this family.
Retirement
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to do that. It's the same phone number every single week. Just call 440-345-6900.
You can call, you can text the word ready to that number to get your own Retirement Ready Toolkit, or to fill out the form there to start that conversation about your financial life and any other thing about retirement you'd like to talk about. We've heard it all. We'd be happy to talk to you. 440-345-6900.
You have great information and you're a lot of fun too. I just want to point that out. Okay, let's take a quick break, but you won't want to miss Tim at the Retirement Ready Light Board to help us understand retirement lifestyle choices and concerns.
We went to Maine this summer. We go to Florida a couple times a year. We took the grandkids up to Michigan fishing. Just living the dream right now.
Yeah, that's the one thing we really wanted to do was travel and adventure in our retirement. And we weren't even sure before, what we'd be able to do. But after partnering with Tim and Laura, it's like, okay, we're good. Tim and Laura were able to show it to us, visually show us, where it would go and how it would grow and how to diversify. And that, we'd be able to actually have fun and leave a legacy for the kids. When we come in, it's like visiting friends, and it's a partnership. They educated us so much. I thought we were fairly, knowledgeable about it, but when it comes down to it, there was a lot of missing pieces that were more about preserving what we have. Everything that they do is, pinpointed to us. This is our family.
Take control of your future. Preservation Retirement Services. Get retirement ready. Call today.
And we're back with Tim and Laura Schultz on Retirement Ready TV, talking about retirement lifestyle choices today, because it's not only about your money in retirement. And there's a lot more to think about.
Better believe it.
What would you say are the general topics that people need to keep in mind when they're thinking about retirement?
I think the worst thing you can do is go into retirement with no plan whatsoever.
Sure.
We talk a lot about financial plans on the show, but there's more to it than just that. So before you get to that retirement date, that date that you're voluntarily unemployed, like we like to say, think about a list of how are you going to fill up your days? Because the clients that we see be the most unhappy in retirement are those that are just kind of sitting around at home, lounging around. They don't have a purpose anymore.
Sure.
Because at least when you're working, you have that purpose. You have something that you're striving for
Every
to
day,
meet your goals at work. You need that in retirement. So start taking inventory, making a list. I'm a mom, I love lists of all the things that you wanted to do while you were working and you didn't have time. We're always complaining about things. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do that. What were the things? Was it volunteering, hobbies, spending time with grandkids, traveling, volunteering, whatever the case may be? Start thinking about what are those things that you want to do, but also you have to think about what are those things that you need to do. They may not be the most fun.
Yeah.
Exercising, eating well. Those are things, it's really important to have that balance of your lifestyle in retirement, right, Tim?
Yeah, just got to create that retirement bucket list, kind of things that you want to accomplish so you don't fall into bad habits, sitting at home, maybe eating bad food, watching bad TV. There's a lot of it out there. So we need to be proactive.
You're thinking about the whole person.
Exactly. Another thing we do for our clients, by the way, is to help them out. We do a lot of client events to keep them engaged. Laura, you had a fun one recently.
Yeah, we did a great women's event. We actually were pounding a lot of nails. We were doing string art, so we got to both. We got to both take some aggression out on the nails, drink some wine. But as we're thinking about this holistic retirement approach, we love to talk about the financial piece. We can talk about that all day long. Tim, maybe you can take us through some of those other areas that it's important to keep top of mind.
Yeah, you're talking about a lifestyle balance wheel, and it's important. And instead of me just talking about it, it might be easier for me to illustrate it.
That'd be great.
So I think I'm going to go to the Retirement Ready Light Board and I'll draw it out for you. I'll be back in a little bit. You two girls stay out of trouble.
Looking forward to it.
He's always looking for an excuse to go to that light board.
He does. He gets to be creative and share some important information in a visual way.
He does. And this is what I love to do, which is our Women Get Retirement Ready segment every single week.
Why are you so passionate about helping your female clients?
Now, as a woman, I've experienced firsthand how difficult and frustrating it can be when you go into a situation with a financial advisor or somebody mortgaged, buying a car or whatever, and they sort of don't pay attention to you because you're a female. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that as well, Michelle.
I have.
And talking over you or just not listening. And unfortunately, I hear that from potential female clients all the time. Like, I go meet with my husband and our advisor, but nobody ever looks at me or asks me what I want. And I contributed to this family for all these years. Maybe I wasn't the primary income earner, or maybe I was, but nobody is looking at me or looking out for me. So it's really important to me to look out for all the women across Northeast Ohio and help those who are looking for a connection that they haven't made with their financial advisor. Someone that's going to listen, that's not going to judge them wherever they are on their journey to financial literacy. I look back 15 years ago, I didn't even know the login to my own bank account. I certainly wasn't the most financially literate person, so I can understand and empathize with them wherever they are. So we love to have this Women Get Retirement Ready program. We do events for women, and it's all just about getting women to feel more financially independent, and I love it so much. It's really my passion.
And then you're just opening up yourself to great questions.
I am. I love
it. We have one today.
We do.
And it's from Mona.
Mona is wonderful. Let's hear what her question is.
Hi, Laura. One of my burning questions as I'm facing retirement is, other than financial planning, what other hurdles should a woman be concerned about as she enters that phase of her life?
Okay, that's a great question, Mona. We see it all the time. When you're working, you're so focused on getting your work done. We see a lot of single moms out there who have been just trying to get by day by day, get the work done, get their kids off, get their kids to college, pay for kids' college, help with the grandkids. And while you're working, you can barely get your to-do list checked off every day. So what happens when all of a sudden now you have a whole day free from the beginning to do that to-do list? Some women find that actually to be a little bit intimidating. I think of one of our clients who, about 2 weeks before she retired, she'd worked at a nursing home for her whole life, helping folks out. She was like, I can't wait. I've been on my feet every day for 30 years. I have all these craft projects that have been sitting around in my craft room every day. I'm going to go to lunch with all my girlfriends. It's going to be amazing. And we're like, we're so happy for you. We're so happy for you. Then 2 weeks later, she came back into our office where we were delivering her retirement ready roadmap plan. And we were like, hey, how is retirement going? How are those craft projects? She's like, I'm bored. Crafts are done. Saw all my girlfriends and they're still working. I'm sitting at home alone in my condo. And so I went back to work.
She changed her mind.
She changed her mind. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm not working full time. I'm working 2 days a week, but it gets me out of the house. It gets me a little bit more income in retirement. And that worked great for her. But the problem was she hadn't really thought about the whole thing together. So again, don't be one of those people that just wakes up to a blank slate and you start to feel lonely and isolated and unfulfilled. You want to have that plan in place. And I think that's really what Tim's going to talk about on the late board.
Sounds good. Let's
Yeah,
go over
let's
to
go over to Tim.
You ready?
Okay, Michelle, of course I'm ready. I'm always ready. And today on this week's episode of the Retirement Ready Lightboard, I want to talk about something a little different. We spend a lot of time talking about financial wellness on this show, Retirement Ready TV, and when clients come into our office at Preservation Retirement Services, whether in the North Olmsted office or the Beechwood office, we talk a lot about financial wellness. But when you think about it, there's more aspects to retirement, more components that you need to think about to make you feel happy and fulfilled in retirement because you're going into a new phase of your life. So I want to talk about our life balance wheel. If you look at this, these are different components of retirement that you need to think about and take seriously when you retire because all of these different components have an effect on your life, have an effect on how you feel and how you feel fulfilled in retirement. So let's just kind of go around the wheel here. The first we start out around the top is financial wellness. And, we've talked about that a little bit already. That's what we talk about all the time on this show and, in our office with our clients. And that is important, but there's so much more. Relationships is super important. That's relationships, with your friends, neighbors that maybe you're home more often, you're seeing your neighbors. Maybe for the first time now, you're at home with your spouse that you haven't spent a lot of time during the day with your spouse for the first time. You need to think about that interaction. And on top of that, relationships also has to do with your colleagues at work. Think about this. You might spend 2, 3, maybe 4 decades at a job with certain colleagues that really become close with you. And when you retire, they're going to go away. Either they retire before you. When you retire, they're still working and you are not. You're not going to have that interaction with them that you normally do on a daily basis. And sometimes that's very difficult for people to not have the relationships that you're so used to having every day. So you need to think about that. Personal growth. When you retire, don't become complacent. Make sure you're constantly setting goals for yourself. Daily, weekly, monthly goals to continue to better yourself. Contribute to society. This has to do with volunteering. A lot of people, when they retire, you have a lot more free times on your hand. And with that free time, you can do good or bad with it. And a lot of times, this is time to take up maybe joining some charities and being more actively involved in things that are important to you that you have not had the time to do while you're working. Mental and physical activity. Now, for physical activity, we got a special guest that's going to come on later on the show and talk about that. So I'll leave that to him. But mental activity, it's also just as important. These are things that, you could be doing, reading books, crossword puzzles. Keep that mind going. Keep it working. And then last but not least, proper nutrition and sleep. So, just make sure you get that proper rest. Make sure that you're eating healthy. You got a lot more time on your hands. Maybe make some more amazing meals that you haven't had time to do when you were working long hours at your job. These are all components to that health-life balance wheel that we talk about. Okay, I hope that made sense for our balance wheel that I laid out for you. It's really important. These are all the components that you need to take serious. They're going to give you fulfillment and happiness in retirement. I got to get back to set. I hope that made sense to you at our Retirement Ready TV Lightboard. I got to see what Michelle and Laura are up to. I'll see you next week.
That was great. Let's bring him back on into the set.
That was great.
Hi, ladies.
I love how you tell stories visually. It helps us so very much.
Did you like my wheel?
Yes, your reel was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, after this break, another fantastic thing is seeing you two work out in a very cool, interesting way.
Yeah.
Ready?
We're gonna do it.
And we're gonna meet the Chief Life Transformer at Max Strength Fitness. That's next on our show.
I'm excited.
We'll be right back.
Women have a lot to be proud of. We get a lot done, but too many times we take care of ourselves last. If you're married, there's a good chance you'll outlive your spouse and all the financial decisions will fall to you. If you're single, it will be up to you to fund your entire retirement. That's a lot to carry by yourself. I'm Laura Schultz, and at Preservation Retirement Services, we can help to take some of that off your shoulders. It's time to put yourself first for once. We look forward to seeing you soon.
I have this pool of money. I don't know you, and I'm trusting you with this pool of money. To be honest, Tim is how I retired. I call it my knight in shining armor. He planned for things, and about 2 years ago, he kind of told me, you can go whenever you want. Gave my notice, I was ready, and I've been fine ever since. He explains everything. He's very matter of fact. He's very personable. Best decision I made, 100% hands down.
Preservation Retirement Services. Get retirement ready. Call today.
Welcome back. Again, we're with Tim and Laura Schultz of Preservation Retirement Services right here in Cleveland, talking about the very important topic of retirement lifestyle choices and staying active. And today we have a special guest who is here to help us with this very thing. It's Jeff Tomaszewski, and he's here from Max Strength Fitness, again, right here in Cleveland. Now, your title is Chief Life Transformer, which sounds very cool. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so at Max Strength Fitness, we help men and women over 50 reverse the aging process in only minutes a week without breaking a sweat through high-intensity strength training.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Tim, I feel like our titles are lame now. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be a
I want
wealth
that
advisor.
one.
I want to be a transformer.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeff, I'm sure you see with your clientele that you're working with being 50 and over that folks transitioning from that work life to their retirement life. What advice do you give them about how to stay active? What should they be thinking about?
Yeah, that's with our clientele being mostly 50 and above. Strength training is vital because we're all losing muscle mass at a rate of 3 to 5% every decade after 30. That's called sarcopenia. So that's one thing I think most people neglect is strength training. So that's where we come in to help improve the quality of their life so that they can actually enjoy their retirement years.
Right. People are focusing on cardio and trying to run a marathon, but it really comes down to strength training and muscle mass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tim, what did you think when we went there?
Well, I enjoyed it, first of all, but that's a big word that he just said. I thought we had big words of retirement planning. But when we were there, that was great because I was there in my street clothes, really in and out. And I come from a surgery that I had a month and a half ago. I had a torn labrum, and I was able to do the workouts that you put us through, and it blew my mind. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Is that part of it, working with injuries?
Yeah, so our background's therapy and sports medicine, so we can help anybody with any physical ailments.
Fantastic. I really want to see this video of the two of you working out.
I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Let's take a look.
Okay, hi everybody. We are now here live with Jeff at Max Strength Fitness, Laura, myself, and Jeff at 2211 Crocker Road. Laura?
So Jeff, let's just pretend that we're not the most physically active folks. Tell us what we should be doing to try to get us there to be healthier.
Yeah, in this protocol I'm going to show today, anybody can do at any stage in life, regardless of your physical ailments or anything. It's efficient, effective, and safe. And the main thing we want to do when we're exercising is we want to slow things down. So from a nuts and bolts perspective movement, we want to lift the weight or whatever we're doing in about 6 to 8 seconds, and we want to lower down in that speed. We want to rob the body of any momentum. We want to take all the stress off the joints. So it's efficient, effective, and most importantly, it's safe. So I'm going to show you a couple of things today. If you're in a rec center, I'll show you on a machine. If you're at home, I'll show you can just get a chair, some body weight stuff, or even just a band or even a towel at home. Some stuff you got laying around and just make it efficient. I'm going to show Laura 3 simple exercises anybody can do at home. All you need is a chair. You can use an exercise band, or if you had a beach towel, that would work as well. So we're going to use a band here. First one is a compound row. That works a lot of muscles from a pulling perspective. So she's going to move slow and controlled on all of these exercises. We want tension the entire time, and we want to do it to muscular fatigue because that's what creates change in the body. And then we go to a chest press, working the opposite musculature from a pressing perspective than what we just did. So that's a pretty complete total body exercise. Again, moving slow and controlled, breathing the entire time. The last exercise is what we call a timed static contraction. It's the safest of them all because you're not moving. So what we do is give 50% effort contraction for 30 seconds, 75% effort at 30 seconds, and then 100% effort as hard as you dare for 30 seconds.
Yeah, you don't need big weights or anything.
You
really feel that.
You can really just use your own body, and the tension is the key, and fatigue is the key. And that's how you can get a great workout at home with very minimal equipment.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm gonna show Tim now is an exercise on a machine that anybody can do if you're at the rec center or any other gym. You can apply these techniques as well. So this is gonna work your hamstrings, the back of your legs. So again, slow and controlled. Heels toward your butt. There you go. Pull back as far as you can. Squeeze and breathe. Slowly come out. Perfect. Don't speed up. We wanna make sure we're breathing. We wanna make sure we're slow and controlled. No momentum, it saves the joints. Heels to butt. There you go. Good. Come all the way back. Going through a full range of motion increases your flexibility as well. Slowly come out so we can get increases of flexibility as well as strength. We'll do another rep. Soft touch, slow turn. Good. Bring your heels to your buttocks. You'll pull all the way back. This time pull back as hard as fast as you can. Yep, pull and breathe, pull and breathe. Relax that face. Keep working and breathing for 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come out. Good. Final descent all the way to the top. Very good.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
I felt the burn there.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's nice that I'm able to be in like my work clothes.
Absolutely. For sure. Love it. Love it. Great.
That was fantastic. Thank you to Jeff for the amazing invitation to work out with him. But you really think about the whole client,
We
not
do.
just about their money.
Yep.
We do, and it comes down to, Tim and I choose to work with people that we end up caring about because it's our goal at Preservation Retirement Services to be their retirement planner. We want to be the last retirement planner that they ever have. So we're looking to build those long-term relationships with our clients. And so it's not just about their financial life. That's a piece that we help with, but we care about them being happy in retirement. And we like to see them all the time and invite them to fun client events, right, Tim?
Yeah, one of the neat things we do is all of our clients are welcome to come back to any dinner workshop that they want to just learn more about retirement, because sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times to hear it. Then all of a sudden, ding, ding, ding. Oh my gosh, I get it now.
Okay, for the folks at home that are like, I want to be part of that family, what do they do? How do they reach out to you?
Sure, it's the same phone number every single week. Just call 440-345-6900.
You can call, you can text the word ready to that number. We'd be happy to send you your very own Retirement Ready Toolkit, or you can use the form to set up that initial meeting to talk to Tim and I about your whole retirement wellness, but particularly that financial piece. We'd love to build you your Retirement Ready roadmap. 440-345-6900, or you can visit us on the web.
Retirewithprs.com. That is retirewithprs.com.
This was such a fun show. We need more field trips for you guys. I like it. All right, we'll see you next week.